people who may or may not be watching this on a delay.
Turn on.
We're much better at building exchanges than we are at figuring out live streaming.
We are. This is our first time. Give us a second. So I don't see it yet.
Oh, there we go.
Is it up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there is a significant delay.
Oh, perfect. All right. Well, this is going to be an awkward 54 seconds before we figure that out. Okay.
Not a problem.
So welcome, everybody. We're probably going to wait 3 or 4 minutes here to see if anybody else filters in, because we do want to get some live questions here at some point. I am going to be moderating. My name is Michael Callahan, the Vice President of Marketing here at Deepwaters. With me, we have Zorg Foldman, our fearless leader and CEO, Greg Barnes, our Chief Technology Officer, Carlton Hoyt, our Senior Vice President of Operations, Greg Shaheen, our Head of Product, and Madeline, who is our Head of Community. Hey, everybody, and thank you so much for joining and watching. We know it's been a dramatic couple of weeks since we officially launched our beta. We are in the process of rolling out our launch features, so we appreciate all of you hanging with us. It's been not a lot of sleep here on our end, but we really have a lot of exciting features coming your way, and we really are excited to have you get your hands on them and provide us feedback and continue working with you. Anybody else want to provide an introduction?
We've actually already got questions coming through, which is great. Keep those coming through, guys, and we'll get to those.
We will queue them up.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, please do ask any questions here in stream, and we're going to do our absolute best to answer any of the questions you guys have. We want to make ourselves as available as we can. We know there are a lot of questions in the community, so keep them coming. All right, you guys want to kick this thing off?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's do it. All right.
LFG.
LFG. So first up, let's hit the elephant in the room. Obviously, there have been a ton of questions about the price of the token. I'm not going to give anybody individually credit for asking this question because there are many of you, and it's a totally reasonable question. But I'm going to hand it over to Carlton to answer those.
Thanks, Michael. So the WTR token is not a security, and therefore we can't speculate on the price. This is for legal and regulatory reasons. The token's a utility token. It's usable for fees on the platform at a fixed rate of 70 cents for WTR. So very soon it'll also be used for governance, including voting on token listings. So we already had a vote on a token listing in our Discord. We're going to be moving that to a WTR vote sometime soon, probably in the coming weeks. And we'll continue to add additional functionality over time.
So we wish we could answer those questions, guys, but we literally, legally, we can't say anything more than that. If you are champing at the bit to hear us talk about that, how do you think we feel? But you've gotten, unfortunately, all we're able to say about that right now. Moving on swiftly, Vadim 1281 in our AMA channel in Discord asks, where is the next listing? So I'm not sure whether you mean where, what are we looking to list next on Deepwaters, or where the WTR token is going to answer or going to be listed next. So we can probably answer both of those questions. The next token we are going to be listing on the Deepwaters exchange is Sephiroid. We have just finished the vote. Over 90% of the entire community who voted did choose to list the Sephiroid token. We did provide a spheroid.
Yeah.
I'm going to get in trouble for that. The spheroid token. That was, again, yeah, over 90% of the community voted to list. And over 6 out of 7 members of our team voted to list as well. So expect that to be coming hopefully in the next couple weeks. In terms of where we are going to be listing next, we don't know the answer to that question. We would love to be listed on as many exchanges as possible. Unfortunately, the reality is for the vast majority of exchanges, that does incur a significant cost. And we're running pretty lean at the moment and allocating the vast majority of our cost toward development. So we want you to have the best product and safest, most transparent experience possible on Deepwaters before anything else. So we would love to know the answer to that question, but we're not sure yet, and we will tell you as soon as we do. Does anybody else want to add something to that?
No, I can just throw something out there. I was just gonna say that, ultimately WTR is intended to be used, right? We're focusing more on creating use cases for WTR than, adding additional trading venues for WTR. So, we want to recruit new projects to list their tokens on Deepwaters. That's more of our current focus, because the more listings we have, the more volume and users we'll have, and the more people will use WTR.
Hey, Carlton, I think actually this might be a good time to bring up our listing program and how Deepwaters is doing something different here.
Yeah, sure. I mean, happy to. So as many of you might know, so we are trying to reinvent the listing process to create really much more of a partnership with the projects that we list, as opposed to just trying to extract value from them like a lot of exchanges do. So we're not going to be charging any listing fees, and we're actually providing those projects who list with us and bring their own liquidity with a 10% share of the trading fees. So they get a revenue share from their listings over time. We think that really makes for good incentives, makes the projects incentivized to promote their listings with Deepwaters, and also encourages the traders who support those projects to trade their favorite projects tokens on Deepwaters, since they'll be supporting their favorite projects in doing so.
And on that note, we are going to be releasing some additional details around an ambassador program. What that means for you guys. If you have personal connections with projects, if you're working on something yourselves, we'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to seriously consider you and put it up to a vote. So let us know, and we will have some details out for you shortly.
As some of you might know, we have actually already announced the first phase of that token listing ambassador program. About 100 of you applied through the Google form. We can link that again in Discord. It is tagged on our general announcements page. If you'd like to take part in that, please ask any of the moderators or administrators in Discord. As Carlton was saying, we're building a model that has some pretty significant rewards built into it. So if you do introduce us to a project and there ends up being significant trading volume, you can actually make some pretty significant money by doing that. So we do hope that more people are enthusiastic, and the people who already have already been a great help and have introduced us to some great projects so far. So,
and of course, just wanted to mention that every project that comes in usually comes in with their own traders. That increases the use cases for WTR.
Absolutely. So next up we have, I'm going to attempt PureXP DeHolda asks, when Shuttle Bay rewards? A lot of questions about Shuttle Bay, so Madeline, take it away.
Absolutely. So basically with Shuttle Bay, it's going to continue to count your points up. So everything's going to count from the very, very start. We're waiting on Shuttle Bay to finish up their marketplace and also the integration with our own rewards. So we're going to be rewarding Delve with that. And then also you'll be able to use those points on their marketplace. Should only be a few weeks away. We're just waiting for them to finish up. So as soon as that is ready, we will let everyone know. But keep getting those points, keep posting, keep commenting. Because yeah, you're still going to be able to use them, so you might as well get as many as you can.
So for those of you who are not familiar with Shuttle Bay and how our program with Shuttle Bay works, Madeline, do you want to just give a quick overview?
Yeah, so basically it's a bounty system. So you get points for retweeting, commenting, and liking our Twitter posts. I have removed you used to get bonus points for being the first ones to do it. The community came back and told us that they didn't like that just because of time zones. So we have removed that. So it's all fair now. So no matter when you do it, as long as it's within the time frame, which is about 2 weeks, you have to do it before that tweet will expire, you can get points for those. So you're more than welcome to jump onto Shuttle Bay. I can reshare the link in the Discord. And yeah, you just have to interact with our posts and you get points. It's that easy.
Awesome. Cool. So we do have a question here about staking from Mubarak501. Has any plan to do staking for WTR? This is probably a Greg question.
Yeah, that does sound like a great question. Good question. We've actually got some exciting plans around this. We want to bring passive liquidity and professional market makers together in deep waters. Now, I can't announce any dates or more details beyond that, but expect more information over the coming year as to exactly how that's going to look and how you can get involved. But certainly, this is going to be something that we think is very competitive with the LP mechanisms that you're used to working with on Uniswap and other DEXs.
Awesome. Next up, we have, will users be able to use the liquidity tab? I know that is currently grayed out in the trading interface. This is a question from Flynn. So in the future, will the liquidity tab be available?
Yes, it will. And you know what? That actually pertains to the feature that I was just talking about. Back to the staking question, I want to announce something around that as well. So later this year, Deepwaters is going to be releasing our validator client. What this means is that as a user, you have the option to, number one, validate that Deepwaters is a fair exchange and doing all the things that we claim we're doing. And number two, shout that from the rooftops and let other people accept that your validator client is mathematically proving this. And we'll compensate you for that, which is the other really nice part. Now, as it pertains to staking, if you are a validator and you want to be compensated, there's a bonding component with WTR, and that's where this comes in. Sorry about the mix-up there, Michael.
No problem. We have another question from Flynn, and that is, what are the plans about non-spot trading? There's probably a couple different ways we can answer that question. So Greg, Zorik, whoever wants to take it first.
Yeah, I'll jump in real quick and just say that this is absolutely on the roadmap for 2023, and we're really excited. I'll hand it off to Zorik. I know he's probably champing at the bit to talk.
Right. Well, we feel like the options market is being underrepresented in crypto because perps are so convenient. And usually the options have liquidity that is insufficient. However, I used to actually sell a lot of volatility. The volatility seller is what I used to do. Deepwaters has a rather unique capability to protect the options market in particular, because if any of you actually traded the options markets, particularly in traditional finance, maybe on LedgerX in crypto, you've noticed how easily the market is manipulated by market makers because it's rather thin. And because Deepwaters allows market orders to basically market orders and limit orders that cross the market to fall directly on the public order book without anybody seeing them, that would allow even inexperienced traders to have a better experience with the options and utilize the unique capabilities that they have.
Okay, so margin trading, leverage, yeah, there's a lot coming soon in terms of non-spot. Last question from Flynn here. What is the status of the bug bounty program?
Yeah, sure. I can take that one. So the bug bounty program is alive and running right now. Currently, if you have a bug to report, that is done via the Deepwater support portal. We have a Zendesk application to handle that. We are going to be migrating over to Immunify probably in the next month or so. So keep an eye out for that. We think it's just a very nice platform. It's designed exactly for this purpose. So we'd prefer to plug into something that people are used to working with.
Perfect. So I know we've been asked this question in a number of different places, but what other chains are we looking to integrate, and what's the time frame for doing so?
Yeah, and actually, I just saw someone speaking about Ethereum Layer 2s. Good place to jump in here. So Deepwaters is built with an early focus on EVM-compatible chains. We have the infrastructure to support them very quickly and kind of expand this, and this is what we plan to do over the next few months. So we're looking very seriously at Ethereum Layer 2s. Arbitrum is going to be the first one that we're looking at. Beyond that, we want to go into alt layer 1s, including Aurora, which represents the near network, Moonbeam for the Polkadot network, and Neon for the representation of Solana. Now, the exciting part comes when we can start to deviate from EVM as well. And this is going to come after we finish up our Fireblocks integration. This is right around the beginning of summer. So at this point, we'll be able to look at native Solana projects, Cosmos, and beyond.
Okay. We have a couple other questions about the Token Listing Ambassador Program. As I mentioned earlier, that program is alive and well. We're currently implementing that program pretty slowly. As you know, we had a few hiccups along the way as we launched, so we're really trying to take a step back where we've pushed back our timelines a little bit just to make sure that we have our feet under us, are getting everything right, crossing the T's, dotting the I's. We've reached out to some of the token ambassadors so far personally. We plan on reaching out to every single one of you who has applied to be a token ambassador, has a qualified account. So please, again, just hold tight with us. We will be reaching out to you, and we look forward to working with you to make those introductions and hopefully onboard those tokens. As we said earlier, there's quite a lot of potential for profit for token listing ambassadors. I don't want to do any speculation, but you can run the numbers yourself. 10% of total profit is it can be quite a bit based on the trading volume that we can establish. So next question up, what are the next promotional programs to earn WTR? So in the coming weeks, a number of you have asked why some of our other partners or influencers have not been promoting us more heavily so far. This is by intent. So I want to address this question directly. We're in the process right now of building several different programs which are about to be available, one of which is the referral program. Anybody will be able to generate a personalized link that they can use to refer friends to trade on the Deepwaters platform. They then earn a percentage of that of profit from everyone they refer through that program. This will be available in hopefully the next 3 to 4 weeks. And as soon as that happens, you're going to see a lot of the KOLs and influencers, friends, partners who are part of our ecosystem launching into much more of a promotional campaign post-launch. The second of those things are rebates. So on the Deepwaters platform, we've built a mechanism such that any trader can effectively make markets with the same conditions as institutional market makers and earn money by doing so. So Carlton, do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure, happy to. So the way that our maker fees are structured, so just to back up a little bit for people who don't know the difference. So, you know, your taker fees, there's an order already on the books, and your order, you know, takes that off the books, then you are the taker. So like market orders are automatically taker orders. If a limit order crosses the books, then that's a taker order. If you place a limit order and lands on the books, that's a maker order. So you are making the markets, you're adding to the liquidity of the markets. If you do that and the trade value is over $100 and you pay for your fees in WTR, then you get a 200% rebate. So there's a 2 basis point fee. If you pay that 2 basis point fee in WTR, you get 4 basis points in USDC. Now your effective rebate could actually be even more, because don't forget, we're treating WTR like it's worth 70 cents on the platform. So if the price of WTR is less than that, then your effective rebate is even higher.
Excellent. This actually might be a good opportunity to address another question that's been brought up in a bunch of different places, and that is, what is a hybrid exchange? And how does Deepwaters identify themselves as neither a centralized or decentralized exchange? Sorry, I'm guessing you're going to want to kick this one off. Is Zork muted?
I can hop in if he's having technical problems.
I got it.
Okay.
Sorry. I just got back from ETH Denver, and after having many discussions and trying to explain our exchange and listening to the questions, the following explanation actually hit home the best. And that is, what we have with Deepwaters is all the benefits, or majority of the benefit, depending how you consider it, of ZK Sync, but much, much faster. And also eligible for regulatory approval in any jurisdiction. That is the important part. So what we have here is something that you could consider a centralized or semi-centralized black box. It's a double-blind black box. We cannot see inside. What that gives us is majority of the excuse me, benefits that decentralized systems give you. However, without the penalty of the cost due to the decentralization and the speed due to such decentralization. On the plus side, centralized exchanges normally get about 10 times the volume and therefore profitability. One of the goals of our company is to be profitable. The jurisdictions that require certain registrations and compliance also bring the most amount of profitability, such as US, UK, Australia, and so forth. So to that respect, we're centralized. On the other hand, we have decentralized compliance. We call it compartmentalized compliance, which allows us not just provide the basic protections that SEC would allow you. Keep in mind that, for instance, FTX.US users did not lose a penny, while FTX.com lost it all. But go beyond that and offer something that even the SEC compliant exchanges would not provide or cannot provide trustlessly.
Okay, so at a high level, we provide the trustlessness of decentralization, but the speed and architecture of centralization. I know I can hear
pretty much. And one thing that is very interesting, I just want to bring up is that the methodology we're using, it's also present in your cell phones, for instance. It is why your cell phone provider, for instance, cannot see your fingerprints or your iris, even though it's being used to get you into the system. And it has been in competition with blockchain for a very long time. Very few people know that. For instance, the Avalanche's founder, his first project was called CE Chain, and that ran on a similar technology that we're using today. It's quite a mature technology. Is being used everywhere. Many major manufacturers provide hardware solutions for that, some of which we are using as well.
Yeah, Avalanche actually just brought their bridge over to Intel SGX, which again, a similar enclave technology.
Okay, so those seem to be all the questions that we currently have on the AMA. We do have a number of questions in chat, and we have some time to address those. So the first question from Mohammed, I want to know what the latest accident and the exploit, what the details were, and how it's affected the trust in the community. So let's have a conversation about that. Zork or Carlton, you want to hop off, or should I? Or Greg,
I can kick this one off if you want. Certainly coming from the tech team, I have a good idea of what happened. First of all, before we get into what happened and the damage that was done, I do want to just say sorry. And it has been a very, very rough time for all of us dealing with what happened here. There is something to be thankful in that the damage was very well contained. Our system was designed in a way that the central exchange and the core application is running smoothly and wasn't affected. but the service that we had created to kind of deliver these community rewards, while it was hit, the damage was very limited, and we were able to act quickly and actually prevent further damage from taking place there. So roughly 2 million tokens were falsely claimed by one of our users. He hit our backend directly and found a corner case that allowed him to pull them out early and basically liquidate them. We've been working with authorities and also with Mexi to go after this individual. I don't want to go into too much information there, but we definitely have a good lead and have a very good idea of exactly what happened on chain and off chain. Now, in terms of preventing things like this in the future, Deepwaters at its roots, we have a lot of practices in place to maintain a slow and healthy promotion of all of our software up to the production level, and that starts with having 4 different particular environments where we stage and test all of our software, and very particular peer-reviewed code going into all of these different stages. And we maintain and will keep these practices. While we had this exploit, our exchange has processed millions of transactions to date. And we're very, very confident in the core application, and we're just going to continue to build on this and add additional security in the future.
A little bit color to be added here. So some of it was my call. We had an issue with the charts, and we were going live, and I made a call to prioritize the fix over the claim page. So what happened is we delivered the exchange in its completeness without any bugs. Again, as Greg said, none of the customer wallets been compromised. None of the Deepwaters wallets have been compromised. This is just a separate Web3 page that had a claim mechanism that was compromised, and that was the only page on Web3 that we didn't audit. Everything else has been audited. And what happened is, because of the change of priorities, the claim page, people that were working on the claim page were put under quite a bit of pressure to deliver quickly. Of course, people were clamoring to start claiming, and that's the fallout. We have learned, and we will adapt.
So again, just want to emphasize the exchange itself wasn't affected, and we do want to own the fact that we rushed this, and we were penalized for it, and we've learned, and we've instituted a number of steps, both internally and externally, to ensure that nothing like that can happen again. But we really do want to emphasize that this was an external web page, and the claim page was an external web page and feature, and had nothing to do with the exchange itself, which is small comfort, but hopefully that this is been a learning opportunity for all of us here at the Deepwaters team, and the consequences will not continue to haunt us for too much longer. So we have some other questions from the community. Actually, Madeline, since you're watching this, do you want to take these and be the representative of the community here?
Yeah, so I can see that there's a few about trading pairs. As we've said, we are currently undergoing our listing process, so you'll see that in our voting channel on Discord. There's certain infrastructure requirements that we need to build for non-EVM chains, so they will be coming. It's just we are focusing on listing those EVM compatible tokens first. So we will have another vote coming up soon. There's a few projects that we've talked to. You might have seen us, we've pre-announced Carbon, which is very, very, very exciting. That's on our Twitter. And then obviously we've had our voting for Spheroid, and also a few more coming. So we will be adding more trading pairs, and there will be more trading pairs across chains. It's all coming, so don't stress about that.
Yeah, one other thing about why don't we have more pairs right now? So there's normally, for exchanges, the liquidity is sourced in one of essentially 3 ways. One is that the project itself puts up the liquidity to trade the tokens. This happens a lot of times for the majors, Bitcoin, Ethereum, et cetera, especially when the exchanges are starting up. The other way is that you get grants from the project. So like, some layer ones or layer twos will, have a grant program and you can apply for grants for liquidity on the exchange. And sometimes they'll give it to you, sometimes they won't. So we're in the process of pursuing some of that as well. The other way that you get liquidity is that, the market makers come on and provide liquidity, and they may be getting it from the projects that they are paid to market make for. If you have enough volume, then they might come in and bring liquidity for major pairs just as an additional venue for them to try to profitably make the markets on. So, we're working on bringing in new listings. We're working on applying for grants for different projects, and we're working on bringing in new market makers as well to provide additional liquidity, which I believe segues into another question on, when we're going to be adding more liquidity. Zork, do you want to touch on that?
Sure. So I am I am guessing that most people are curious about the DEXs. I must say we do not authorize such trading. We do not add liquidity to the DEXs. This has to do with regulations. So please, if you are trading our token, Deepwaters and Maxi would be a better venue, and I'm sure it's a better trading experience considering lack of liquidity there as well, as somebody has noted due to the slippage. Now, in terms of liquidity on Deepwaters, why do we have 6 pairs right now and not 26? What are we going to do about liquidity regarding the projects that are coming in? The depth in a spread is expensive, right? So it is very important to identify the best pairs, or rather the most popular pairs, and make them more have more liquidity and better spread. So what's happening at the moment is we started with one market maker for Deepwaters and one market maker for Mexi. The secondary market maker, which might become the primary, is already in probably almost finished, and Greg can talk about it, integrating with our API. Yet another market maker is signing the contract today. So the way we're envisioning it is every additional, all the new additional tokens that are not our primary tokens, let's call them, Ethereum, BTC, and so forth, they will have a dedicated market maker, or they will bring their own market maker on. And then we will have 2 or 3 market makers supplying liquidity to Deepwaters, hopefully also to Maxi in the future and other listings. And that also is something that we have to keep in mind. People ask us, why don't you list elsewhere? Well, aside from the expense, also you have to make sure that the market makers can handle it.
One other thing that I'd like to add quickly is that, another reason that we're not coming out of the gate with 20 pairs and therefore, have to have liquidity up there for 20 pairs is that we need to make sure that the exchange is operating securely. It's different having something on testnet than on mainnet. You're dealing with real world assets. And, we just want to make sure that we're acting carefully and conservatively and that, we're not putting assets at risk.
Yeah, that's a good point, Carlton. And it should be known that we've been building this product for almost 2 years now. And while we've tested and run millions of transactions through the system, it does become a very different game when real money enters the picture. So this is a beta launch, right? And what we intend to do here is ramp things up over time and bring in these new token listings over the coming months. So everything's on target there.
And thank you. That's a great point. And I'd like to add a little bit more color to that one. You might be surprised, but not just we have to make sure everything is secure, but also the market makers as well. Because it is new code for them. Our API is different. It's unique. So as they create new code, as we help them, there could be problems. There could be bugs. And to our surprise, we have found some with our market makers, and they fixed it. But to that point, we have to be careful going big at the very beginning.
Emphasis here is we're still in beta, guys. And we haven't finished rolling out our launch features even yet, so we're still mid-launch. We are really, from the beginning, our mission has been to be the most reliable, the most secure, the most transparent exchange. And unfortunately, one of the trade-offs is that in some cases we can't move on as quickly as we'd like to. But being secure, giving you all the tools to ensure that your assets are safe and are not being rehypothecated or implicated in fraud, or you will never experience the kind of thing that deep waters that you may have in FTX, Voyager, etc. Part of that is developing in a manner which is a little more conservative than a lot of us would like as well. We're excited for all of you to see a lot of the things that we have coming up, but unfortunately some of those are going to be a little farther out than we hoped. But there's going to be a lot coming in the coming just days and weeks here.
And speaking of which, I'd like to give a shout out to Elias. He identifies himself as a semi-professional testing enthusiast. By all means, help us. So if you would like to work with us on our API, give us feedback on the testing. We would appreciate that. Let's work together.
Also report those bugs into our bug bounty program, and we will pay you.
We have a lot of money locked up in the bug bounty program, guys. Like, take part in the bug bounty program.
Claim it.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions, Madeline, that you see from the community?
We have a few. So we've got a question about, if it's so expensive to add new pairs, why don't we just crowdsource liquidity from the community? I think that's a great question.
Yeah. So this was mentioned a little bit earlier, but specifically around crowdsourcing, this is in a roundabout way the way that our passive liquidity product will work. It's just not ready yet, guys. But we're very excited to put it out there when it is. Again, it should be a very similar experience to Uniswap, except everything is a lot faster because it's happening off chain. And you have professional market makers doing the market making for you.
Which also adds another layer of security that we have to provide, right? Because we need to make sure that the professional market makers are, treating your assets as if, they were their own, and, holding them responsible for the P&L. We don't want our community taking losses because professional market makers did not do their job well.
Right. What that means exactly is having collateral in place and having risk parameters that protect the users. This is all part of the process. It does have to be engineered.
So Fernando has a question. Can you explain the early user experience in KYC? Absolutely. So actually, Carlton, you're probably going to want to jump in on this.
Zor, did you want to take this one?
Sure. So as some of you have noticed, I have jumped into the trenches to help out with KYC. We are not happy with the initial experience, and we have done quite a bit about it. You may not notice it yet, but big changes are coming. We are aiming for 100% turnover for our backlog. What I mean by that is nobody is left behind for more than 24, 48 hours, no matter what. So at this point, we started rather aggressively, requiring full passports and proof of addresses, right? We are going to improve the entire process, going to take into consideration the countries and then type of IDs, and we've been working directly with Fractal. I've been spending hours and hours with them, going over their process, helping them out, speeding them up, calling them out when they leave people hanging for a few days. I don't accept that. If somebody is there for more than 24 hours, I call their attention to this person, and then they approve them. I have a major problem with that. Why did you not do it yourself? Why did you miss that person? This is a bad user experience. So we are preparing ourselves for a large influx of users. One of our market makers is going to be bringing in 20 to 30 new tokens. They have about 241 or something around that number in their back pocket, and they would like to introduce all of them to our system. We are very excited, but we also must be ready for them. So I commit to you personally that this is going to be handled. We will be as good at KYC as Coinbase, Binance, anybody that you can name and say, I had better KYC experience elsewhere. And I'll pass the question about the fees to Carlton and Greg.
Sure. So just one quick thing to add about the KYC. I'm guessing that part of the question was how many people have signed up. We've had over 8,000 people sign up for Deepwaters so far, which is pretty good considering we're not even a month out.
8,334.
There you go.
Yeah.
So if we can keep that going, we'll be doing just fine.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, with regard to fees, we're not publishing our revenues or anything of that nature. We're not a public company. But we do have, everyone right now is getting our top VIP tier. We have not instituted the basically the tracking of monthly trading volume on an individual user basis. We're just giving everyone the max VIP tier. We told everyone who had registered early that they were going to get that, which they are, and they're going to continue to get that for at least 1 year. And everybody else, we're just getting it as a bonus until we implement the fee tiers. Right now, we're very happy giving everyone our top VIP tier, VIP 6, I believe is the top level. And just encouraging more people to come trade on Deepwaters. You get a great trading fees.
And it's even sweeter when you pay in WTR, which is active, by the way.
It is. Regardless of what the price of WTR is currently, it is redeemable on the platform at 70 cents. So it's quite a benefit at the moment. The other, just to follow up on the KYC question, is why KYC? As we've mentioned before, this is honestly something we struggled with quite a bit. We are, by and large, a team who came from DeFi. We believe in the principles of DeFi, and this was a really difficult decision for us. But at the end of the day, Deepwaters is built with a mission to ensure the security of everybody on the platform, us and you. And that means ensuring the security and integrity of all assets that you entrust the platform with. And part of that means KYC. Part of that means a centralized validation structure. Even though we can't see that information directly, and we don't operate, again, as a traditional centralized exchange, it is more important for us that your assets are secure under all circumstances, and you will never be trading in a way that ends up being against the law. That's obviously, the regulatory landscape is still evolving rapidly. We don't know where the laws are going to land, but there is a lot of legal pushback right now against decentralized exchanges, and we don't want anyone who trades on our exchange to end up inadvertently breaking the law in whatever country they reside in. The other part of that, obviously, is, or an example, is when FTX collapsed. FTX international users were screwed, and FTX US users didn't lose a penny. And I mean, that really proves why, as annoying as it is, and in some ways as contrary as it runs to the principles of DeFi that we believe in as well, KYC at the moment really is necessary.
And actually, we might be guilty. This is our system, so we may kind of glance over, but it is quite important. So what just happened, and it wasn't like that in the beginning, is that WTR has started to acquire its use cases. So being used in a platform is one use case. The rebates coming in, that is very important. When I ran my hedge fund, I would spend $85,000 in commissions or more, and just roughly, I would probably make $32,000 on Deepwater. So that's another use case. Going forward, things like governance, voting, and as we acquire leverage and other things, all of that will add to use cases of water, so that all of us understand that it is a utility token that has utility, as well as governance functions.
All right, guys. Well, it looks like we've addressed all the questions that I have. If there are any last questions from anyone in chat, please do write them down now. we do want to preview that in the coming weeks this spring, we are going to be introducing a trading contest along with the referral and rebate programs. So there will be some pretty significant prizes in both WTR and in USDC for trading on the Deepwaters platform. We want to be doing QA, and obviously we are in beta, and we want as many of you as possible to be taking part in that. So get ready for an announcement coming very, very soon about the trading contest. It will be operated very similarly to some of the trading contests that we had on the testnet. The only difference is you're going to be able to win USDC and WTR, and it will be live with real assets. So we're really excited for that. Be prepared for an announcement. And before we go, does anybody else have anything to say?
I just have nothing but gratitude for the
Yeah.
community. All of this is a learning experience for us. We've been around the block before. We have created high frequency trading systems. We have created SEXs. We have created DEXs. We've done quant work and so forth. With some public exits, but every time, every startup, it is new. And what you see here is pretty much the founder team. We learn a lot, and a lot of it we learn from you, from your questions, from your feedback. Thank you so much. Thank you for sticking around through thick and thin. And obviously, thank you for coming on this podcast. Looking forward to seeing you again. Please bring your good questions, and looking forward to the adventure that is Deepwaters. We intend to be around for many, many years, and we hope to have you along for the ride as part of the Deepwaters team.
We can all second that. I know we say it every time, but man, we truly would not be where we are without the help of this community, and we cannot express enough gratitude. We take your feedback very, very seriously. There are, as we mentioned earlier, a number of questions that we can't answer. We really wish we could. There are things that we don't have answers to yet. We'll let you know as soon as we do. And we are planning to have these YouTube live events at least every 2 weeks, and maybe more often depending on the demand. So let us know what you think. Is this a format that's helpful and interesting for all of you? We're happy to respond and answer questions in whatever way that we possibly can. We're trying this out ourselves, so please give us feedback and let us know if there's a better way to do this that you have.
And
Absolutely.
sorry,
I was just going to say, if you
please.
can submit your questions ahead of time and not during the stream, it does give us a little bit more time to prepare answers and really focus on you during the live stream. But we're always happy to take stuff live as well.
And just wanted to say, many people are asking certain questions that we cannot answer, as we said before. But one thing I can say is we are running very efficiently. There is not a single dollar that is not being used to improve the company, improve the product. So we are doing everything in our power to make this work and make it work well, to the point that some of the chiefs in the company, including myself, would stop taking salaries at certain periods of time just to divert more money into building faster, building better. A lot of it would happen to answer certain things the community would want. So I hope that it's on our word for now, but I hope that you trust us that we have a good intent, and we love this project, hopefully as much as you do. We will continue doing so.
All right. Thanks so much, everybody. We're looking forward to seeing you next time. And thanks for
you.
submitting your questions.
Thanks, everybody.